Yeah, good evening, Hel Shaddai. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Can you hear me clearly? Yeah, good evening. Okay, yeah, my guest for today is already here. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir, Mr. Bayo. Good evening, sir. Yeah, I'll go ahead and accept your request now, then we're good to go. Good evening, sir. It's good to have you. Good evening. Hey. Yep. Oh, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming. It's so good to have you. Thank you very much, sir.
Same here.
Thank you very much for
Okay, can you see
honoring
me
my
very well?
invitation. And thank you for the gift and the blessing of following you online. And thank you for the gift of all that you share all the time. Yeah, hello. Hello.
I can hear you. Can you see me?
Okay, I can see you. I can hear you clearly now, sir. Good evening, sir. Yeah, can you hear me, sir? Hello. Can you hear me?
Very clearly.
Okay, I can hear you now. Perfect. Wonderful. Yeah, good evening, sir. How are you today, sir?
Very well. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah, same thing here, sir. And once again, let me say thank you for the study Bible. It's been such a wonderful
Oh.
time reading through it. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
thank
I'm
you.
grateful
Thank
once
you. Thank
again.
you. The pleasure is
Okay, just
mine.
while we're
Thank you.
waiting for other people to join, before we get into the conversation proper, I'll just give you a few minutes to introduce yourself to our wonderful audience. Tell us a bit about you and about your journey.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Um, my name is Bayo Adeyinka. I describe myself as a banker by profession. Well, during the course of my career, I've had the opportunity of working for about 7 banks. Started my career about 21 years ago. I'm also an author. I've written 3 books. Out of the
Wow.
3, I co-authored one. 2 were written by me. 40 lessons I learned along the way, and 30 career lessons I learned along the way. That's the latest one. I'm also a public speaker. I write articles, and I also pastor a church. Okay, I'm married with a daughter. So I think, in a nutshell, that's it about me.
No, I'm quite aware that you speak most times in conferences that are organized by church, but I never knew that part of you that you pastor a church.
Oh well, I do. Yes, and I speak at a lot of conferences, not just for church, but career seminars, leadership conferences. A lot of conferences for young people. I facilitate a lot of those kind of seminars. Yes.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, I'm going to start by asking you the first question for this evening. Okay, I know just like you have said, I know you're a man of so many parts. You're an author, a banker, a teacher, a public speaker, and then you pastor a church. With all this, you're busy and very tight schedule. How do you prioritize family time? How are you able to give out time for your family? And what are the lessons or practical things that you have done that have allowed you to be able to prioritize your family that you can give us an advice for people who are actually busy like you to help them to be able to strike a balance between their purpose and then their family?
Wow, that's a wonderful question. I think that is one sense of balance everybody must try to have.
The network.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Family is the most important
I can hear you, sir.
To me. And one quote that has made a very lasting impact on me, I think it was made by Rick Warren in one of his books. He said he has had the opportunity of sitting together with many people during their final moments. You know, Rick Warren, who wrote Purpose-Filled Life, he said during the last moments of so many people, he has had the opportunity of sitting with them during their final moments. And he discovered that not a single person in their final dying moment asked for their bank accounts. Nobody asked for their gold wristwatch or where their money was. All of them, without exception, asked for their family in their final moments. So this actually, you know, that time when I read that quote, I meditated on it a long time and I said, wow, no matter what happens to you, no matter the highest achievements that you can get to, no matter what you do in life, family is key. Family is key. So this has helped me a lot to be able to try to strike a balance, sort of, especially when I'm handling career and work and seminars and traveling all over the place and all that. For instance, just before we started this IG live, I just came back from where I went. I took my wife and my daughter. I have a daughter. You know, we went to a fun place. Okay, immediately after church, just to spend some time together. So that's one of the things I try to do. You know, I try to ensure that my weekends, you know, as much as possible, is for my family. Okay, even when I'm at work, I'm always doing video calls to my wife and to my daughter. For the past 5 years, I've been more or less like, up until January, I've been more or less like a weekend husband. Okay, Mondays I travel from Lagos to Ibadan. I used to work in Ibadan, so I work in Ibadan from Monday to Friday. So either Friday evenings or Saturday mornings, I come back to Lagos. And I did that for 5 straight years. But one of the things that I never failed to do is to talk to them on phone on a daily basis or do video calls at least twice or thrice a day. Now, January, I'm back to Lagos, but I still didn't stop that. We speak on phone every day, video calls to my daughter when she's back from school on a daily basis. Now, one of the things I also do as a form of agreement with my wife is the first day of every term, every school term, I take my daughter to school. First day of every school term. I've never missed it. She's in year 5 now. So you can imagine for 5 years, every single first day of the term, whether it is first term, second term, third term, I am the one that takes my daughter to school. Okay? So that at least she understands that daddy knows this is very important to him. So it's a special moment for me. No matter what I am doing, I leave everything, you know, for that particular morning, and I ensure that I take my daughter to school first day of every term. Now, all our events, all our major events, when they are doing musical events in school and my daughter sings, I'm always there. There have been times I would jump into the car from Ibadan, run to Lagos. I remember they were doing one at Muson Center, was it last year? You know, I got there late, but my wife was already there waiting for me, but I ensured that my daughter saw me. So when she was singing, she actually took one of the lead songs. So I ensured that I got in front with my phone to record her, and she saw me, and I was waving at her. I ensured that she saw me. You know, so I believe that all those small moments, they count. You know, she will never forget those moments. Yes, I take her on vacation. But for me, it's not about the annual vacation that we take outside the country and all that. But those small moments are moments that she will cherish for life. Now, this last Valentine, I made sure I got her something. I got my wife also something, you know, and they unwrapped it together in front of me. Now, one of the things I gave my daughter was a handwritten card from daddy to daughter. And as I speak to you, that handwritten card is still beside that bed in our room. You know, so
Wow.
all those small moments, I try to create them. Now, I am not saying that this is the best that I can do. There's still room to do more. I still want to try to create more time, especially for my wife. My wife is.
Uh-oh. Hey, network, please don't do this. Okay, we'll just wait. He's going to be back. Hello. Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. So in all, I'm just trying to create all this balance. Okay. Sorry,
No,
since the network is
I
a
lost
bit.
you at some point where you're trying to talk about what you do for your wife. That's the last time I heard you.
Oh, okay. I said my wife is an amazing woman, you know, and I still try to create more time for her, you know, so that
Wow, 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 wow. If there's something I'm going to take away from all that you have said, I would say, regardless of what height you climb or you attain in life, when you lose it at the family level, you've lost it all. That family is supreme. Can you hear me, sir? Oh, network. Hello? Hello? Okay, let me just wait for him. I mean, I don't know. Let me just be sure the problem is not for. Oh, we didn't hear him. Okay, we can't hear him. So, but you guys can hear me, right? I mean, just to be sure it's not from my hand. Oh, you guys can't hear me as well. Ah, okay, okay. He left. Okay, he sent me a request again, so I'll just. Okay. Ah, okay.
can you
Good.
see me now?
Yeah, we can see you. Good
I
to
have
have
to
you back, sir.
switch. I have to switch my network because
Ah, okay.
I felt the former network was not doing so well, so I had to switch.
All right, thank you very much, sir. That's good. Well, I said if there's something I've been able to take away from all that you have said so far, is that no matter the height one attain in life, when you lose it at family level, you have actually lost it all
Oh,
because
you've
family
lost
is
it.
supreme.
I tell you, you've lost
Wow.
it. There's no
Thank you
point
very
gaining the
much.
whole world and losing your family. You've lost everything. You've lost virtually everything.
Wow, thank you very much for that. That's such a wonderful one. Okay, I'm going to ask you about the next question. I mean, the next question still on family. You know, in one of your posts on social media, you wrote something titled Marriage Made Simple. And you highlighted in that post some of the rules that can help you to attain a lasting and healthy marriage. So I want you to share some of those rules with us once
All right.
again.
Thank you. Thank you. Now,
Yeah.
um, I've not been married for a long time. I've just been married for 18 years, you know, going to 19. I don't think that is a long time.
No, it is
you know,
actually.
you know, I was 27 when I got married. My wife was 25. You know, I was 27, my wife was 25. So we've been married for 18 years. This year, August, we're going to be 19 years married, you know. And I have come to understand a few things, especially if you want to enjoy your marriage, okay? If you want to have a great home, a great family. One of the things I've come to understand is you need to respect your differences. You need to respect your differences. You know, we're not all the same. We came from different backgrounds, okay? And we need to respect our differences. For instance, in terms of finances, I am very strong in terms of money, in terms of savings, in terms of maybe because of my background as a finance professional. So, in terms of savings, in terms of keeping a budget, in terms of keeping money, in terms of planning. I'm very strong there. My wife is not very strong there. Okay. So I respect that difference. Okay. There are certain areas also where she's stronger than me, where I am weaker. So I respect that difference. You know, marriage is a combination of two imperfect people. People who come from different backgrounds, you know, people who have different views about life. So it's your ability to compromise a little here and a little there that will help you. Then I usually tell people that it is not all about love. Marriage is about commitment. You know, love may actually be the entry key. Love may help you put a foot in the door. But marriage is more than love. It's about commitment. That woman you get married to might not be that slim lady that you married, you know, and all that. You know, the process of childbirth and so many things would have changed so many things, physiology-wise. And the same thing with the man, okay? I mean, when I got married, I was slimmer than this, but now maybe a little bit of pot belly, a little bit of pot belly here and there, rotten cheeks and all that, you know. But you need to understand that love is not all there is to marriage. It's about commitment. You need to be committed. You know, you need to understand that, look, whether this person goes old, whether life happens to them, I am irrevocably committed to them. Okay, so respect their differences, understand your strengths and your skills, understand your strengths and your weaknesses. Okay, I know where my wife is weak, she knows where I'm weak. I know where he's strong, she knows where I'm strong. Okay, the best kind of match is where you are strong, maybe she's weak there. So where she's weak, you are strong in that area, so that you can help each other. Okay, one of the things that I've also learned that has helped me is you need to be quick to say, I am sorry. You need to be quick to say, I'm sorry. Now, I prefer the man, you know, being very quick to say, I am sorry. It doesn't make you any less of a man. It doesn't make you any less of a man. So, and it doesn't matter whether you are right or who is right or who is wrong. Okay? Just be quick to say, I am very sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's, I tell people, no matter how mad a man is, if a woman says, I am sorry, that man he cannot do anything again. Okay? I am sorry has a way of deflating anger. It has a way of just deflating the whole situation and bringing everything down, you know, when you are quick to say, I am sorry. One of the things I've also learned is it's fruitless arguing with a woman.
Can you say that again?
You can never win an argument with a woman. You can never win. You can never win. So don't even bother. You know, before nobody gives a prize for whoever wins an argument in a marriage. There's no prize giving day for winning arguments in a marriage. So there is even no point. Don't bother. You did this, sorry. I've told you sorry. You know, it's just okay. It will deflate everything. And be quick to forgive. Be quick to forgive. You know, there's no point being bitter and going to bed, you know, hungry. It doesn't make any sense. And one of the things that we have learned, and I learned this from my pastor, is even if you are angry, ensure you sleep on the same bed. Don't sleep in different rooms. Okay? Somebody is saying, should I say sorry even when I'm right? Yes, say sorry. It's not about who is right or who is wrong. Say sorry. Okay? Later, she will come back to you and say, he or she, I mean, it doesn't, I'm not talking about the man particularly now, but either of the parties should just say sorry. Later, the other party will say, oh, I was the one that was wrong. You were actually right. Okay, so it's not about who is right or who is wrong. Just say sorry and deflate the moment, and then you can talk about it. I'm not saying sweep things under the carpet. I'm saying for the moment, so that cool things down, and then you can discuss about it later. Okay. So what I was saying was, we made an agreement that even if we are angry, no, but we can't sleep in different rooms. We still sleep on the same bed. There is no way you will sleep on the same bed and you're angry. Body go touch body now. You know, normal. It's normal. And if you are husband, you can't quarrel with that thing. If you know what I mean. You can't quarrel with that thing. You know, so ensure you sleep in the same bed even if you are annoyed. don't get annoyed and get out of the house. Don't get annoyed and go and sleep in separate rooms. We sleep in the same room. We sleep in the same room. And we've been sleeping in the same room for 18 years. Okay? Even though my house has 4 bedrooms, but I don't have daddy's room, mommy's room. No way. In fact, it's my daughter we kicked out of our bed so that she can go to our room. Okay? And then we sleep in the same room. So, I mean, these are some of the lessons. They may sound funny, but there are things that have helped me over time to be able to manage situations. Not that we don't have our own situations, and I would be a liar to come here to say, oh, we don't argue, we've not had a few issues here and there. No, 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 no. We have had, but these simple principles have helped me to be able to maintain a balance together with my wife, and then I respect her a lot. I allow her to be who God has made her to be. I support her in her vision. I don't want her to just support me. I also support her. So when you have a woman, a wife you're married to, you also support her, you push her, you help her drive her vision. She knows that you are our number one cheerleader, and believe me, she will also go out of her way to support that kind of man.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You've had lots of nuggets out of all that you have said so far. Okay, the next question, I think this is a bit more about career advancement now. Apart from having hard skills, involves intellect, brilliance, your degree and all that, what are other soft skills that one needs to possess if they would ever advance in their career or in their business, in their job? What are the other skills that one needs to have? Like, I mean, you've worked in the banking sector from one bank to another bank to another bank to another bank. I know you must have
for 21 years.
Yeah, for 27 years. So I'm sure you're the best person to ask this question. So I don't want to think that it's because you are that brilliant. Yeah, I know you are, but I don't think that's the only thing that has promoted you to this level. So what are the other soft skills that one needs to have in order to?
In fact, when I started banking, I came in with a disadvantage. My first degree was in mechanical engineering. Okay, I graduated with a degree in engineering, not banking, not finance, so it was a sort of disadvantage coming in, okay? So, but one of the things I've realized is, there are 2 different types of skills. You have the technical skills, okay, and then you have what we call soft skills. Now, your technical skills are, talking about your competence on the job, your knowledge on the job, how well you do the job and all that. Now, that is very critical. That is very good. Talks about your IQ. That is very good. I tell people your IQ can get you a job. But you need more than the IQ for you to be able to climb up the ladder or to sustain that job. Okay? Your technical skills can give you an introduction into the job, get you into the job, and you get started. But the moment you start to climb your career ladder, there is something more that you need, more than those technical skills. You now begin to need those soft skills. The more you climb in your career, the more you go higher in your career, the more soft skills are even more important than the technical skills. Why do I say soft skills are even more important than the technical skills? There is nothing you are doing that another person cannot do.
Absolutely.
There is no skill that you have that you cannot get 1,000 more people who have those kind of skills. And if your company is ready to pay the right price, they can always get somebody to replace you. So I tell people that there is nobody that cannot be replaced. There is nobody that is indispensable, all right? But what soft skills does for you is when you climb, when you go ahead, the more you spend on that job, the more you now realize that certain skills are very critical. One of such skills is communication skills. Now, as simple as that sounds, so many people have been limited. They have had a cap on their career because of their limited communication skills. Some people can't write. I've seen that people cannot write well. Okay, you ask somebody who has been working for a few years to go and write a simple memo, they cannot write it. Full of errors, replete with errors. You need to correct and correct and correct. People write as if they are sending text messages. They abbreviate. You see that a lot. Okay? And there is no way you can rise in your career doing that. People cannot presentation skills. A lot of people lack those presentation skills. A few weeks ago, about a week ago, I had to write on social media about presentation styles. You know, going through that program that was organized by Pastor Koju.
Yeah, the platform.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wrote not essentially about the content of the platform, but about the various presentation styles. And I saw it went viral. A lot of people were interested because I was trying to tell people there are various presentation styles. There is the storytelling style. Now, my style is 90% storytelling. I tell a lot of stories when I'm speaking at webinars and seminars or when I'm writing, okay, because I believe that people relate to stories. And that is why, even if you look at the way Jesus was trying to communicate his truths, 90% of the things he said were parables. Okay,
what parables?
Parable stories. They are relatable. People can relate with stories. Stories are very relatable. You see, people can forget everything I've said here today, but if I share a story, people will remember.
Yeah,
so
that's
there's
correct.
a storytelling style. Then there are people who use humor, who infuse a little bit of humor into their style. They make people laugh, especially when there's an error. Especially maybe there's an error right now while we're doing this IG live. You know, the ability for you to be able to laugh at yourself, poke fun at yourself, is actually a fantastic presentation style. It's actually a fantastic presentation style. You know, there are some people who read things out like as if it is a lecture. Someone like Olusegun Adeniyi, that is a style. They must write everything down and then they read it out as if it is that's a style. Now, there are some people who speak off the cuff. Okay, they speak off the cuff. They don't have the notes, but they speak and all that and all that. Okay, there's no presentation style that is better than the other. The most important thing is for you to understand the style that suits you, what you are comfortable with, and be able to improve on it. All right. So the higher you go, the more you realize that these communication skills are important. For example, your boss now asks you, go and represent me at a seminar and speak there. If you don't understand how to present, it will be too late for you to start to prepare at that time. You are going to mess up.
Yes.
And when you mess up publicly, you may not have that opportunity again. That door shuts. Okay, so that is why part of the soft skills you need is communication skills, your ability to write, your ability to present, your ability to speak. Now, the truth of the matter is not all of us are going to be orators, but all of us can actually learn how to speak well. Not all of us are going to have that diction and speak like Onyibo the way you are doing. You are speaking Onyibo more than I am. My own is
that's not correct, sir.
my accent is heavily Nigerian, you know. But you are living in Onyibo man's land, and you know you speak I gonna, I wanna, and all that, you know. But not all of us might be able to speak the right diction and speak Queen's English, okay, and speak but all of us can actually learn to speak well.
Yeah, that's correct.
Years ago, more than about 20 years ago, if you heard the way I speak, I used to have very thick Ibadan accent, and there is nothing wrong with having Ibadan accent. I'm not dissing people from Ibadan. My wife is from Ibadan, okay, so I'm not looking down on them. But I used to have that very heavy accent anytime I was speaking because that was where I grew up. That was where I was born. But consciously, you know, I would go in front of the mirror and rehearse speeches, especially when I was preparing to be the president of the student union during my undergraduate days. I was actually president of the student union government in my undergraduate days, okay? And I had to speak to a big audience, a large audience. And I didn't want people to start paying attention to my pronunciation rather than the content. So I had to stay in front of a mirror, you know, rehearse, you know, for hours and hours and hours. Even when I got married, my wife is a better speaker of the language than me. You know, my wife corrects a lot of the things that I say. She's listening to everything now. After we finish, my wife will say, you didn't pronounce this one very well. You didn't pronounce this one very well. So and she will teach me, this is how you pronounce it. This is how you say it. You know, my wife is a teacher. She runs a preschool. So she's big on pronunciation and all that and all that. So communication skills is very important. The higher you go, the more important it is. Just imagine, we have a lot of leaders in Nigeria who have poor public speaking skills. They can't even hold an audience. And we see people like Obama talking, and we are all wowing, and all that and all that. He did not learn it when he became the president. He learned it along the way. So these are skills, no matter, how you think they are soft, they are critical. When you begin to climb the corporate ladder, it is no longer about your technical skills at that time. Your competence is no longer in doubt. But it is not about your soft skills. You don't want a situation where they are looking for somebody who is going to be a senior leader, senior management. Only one slot is available. 3 people are qualified. And they said, oh yeah, all of you do presentation to us and then you form it. And they know you are competent, but they know you cannot speak to convince anybody. Okay, so it's important. Another soft skill that is very important is your networking skills. You need to be able to relate to people, build bridges. Okay, the higher you go, the more you realize that you need more people. Okay, you can't do it alone. The ability to relate with another unit, another department, don't be a lone ranger and all that and all that. So these are part of the soft skills that you actually need.
Wow, thank you very much. I mean, I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes already. Okay, let's move to the next question. Okay, I know you've moved from one job to another. I mean, in your bio, you probably have moved from about 6, 7 banks. I mean, like from this.
Seven now.
For you to have moved through those 7 banks, you must have sat down and been interviewed in those 7 times, right? And as a senior management in banking too, I know you must have conducted a whole lot of interviews. So I want to ask you, sir, what are they, like, still talking about soft skill now, in order to have an effective interview, like in order for you to do well at your interview, what are the certain things that you need to take cognizance of when you're going for interview?
Okay. I wrote an article some time ago. Anybody listening to me can Google it. The title is The Interview. The interview, just put the interview by Adenka. I mean, because it went viral at that time. The night I wrote that article, I interviewed, I was on a panel of interview, and we interviewed close to 100 people that day. And it was disappointing that I don't think we were able to identify 10 people that we could hire. So that night I had a heavy burden. I was very burdened, and I started writing that article. I wrote that article that night and posted it on social media. And by the time I woke up, that article had gone viral because I was able to mention a lot of things that I felt were critical for a lot of people to know. I've been involved in a lot of interviews. I myself have changed jobs 7, and this is my 7th financial organization where I'm working. So I've changed jobs quite a few times in my career. I've sat across panels of interview, and I can tell you, when you are looking towards a successful interview, there are 10 critical components you must watch out for. 10 critical components. 10 critical components you must watch out for. Number 1, your introduction. Your introduction will determine whether you are going to continue that interview or whether the interviewers are going to call it a day. Yeah. And you see, a lot of people forget that interviewers, maybe they're going to interview so many people that day. They don't have that time. They don't have that luxury of time. So you have just a few minutes to make a very good first impression. And if you are unable to make that first impression, you just hear, thank you very much, we'll get back to you. Okay, when you hear, thank you very much, we'll get back to you after your intro, that means you have not made the cut. So your intro is important. Your introduction is significant. How you introduce yourself. Your intro must be catchy. Don't repeat all the things that you have on your CV. They can see it already. Maybe the only thing that is on your CV that you should say is just your name. But they can even see it already, is there. But you see a lot of people say, please, can we get to meet you? Introduce yourself to me. The first thing they will say is, I am male. Everybody knows you are male, you are not female. I am 27 years old. Who cares? It's not about your age. Okay? I come from a family of 5. I am the firstborn. I am a Christian. My father is this. Nobody cares about all that. Okay, so your intro is very critical. It's very important. When you talk about your introduction, make sure it is catchy. Make sure it speaks to your skills and your experience, and it helps you to elongate that conversation. It helps you to elongate that conversation. I tell people that what you should try to do during an interview is to turn an interview into a conversation. If you succeed in turning an interview into a conversation, believe me, you have a leg in the door. So your intro is important. That's number 1. Number 2 is your confidence level. Your confidence level is critical. And your confidence can be seen in the way you talk, the way you speak, your posture. Your confidence is even seen from the way you enter the interview room. Your shoulders not hunched, but up, a smile on your face. You know, you keep the attention of your interviewers. You look at them in the eyes, not that you are staring at them, okay, but you are smiling and you are looking at them. You know, when you are looking away, it shows that you are dodgy. Maybe you are hiding something, you know, but when you look at them and you answer questions, they see confidence. So your confidence level is important. Number 3 is your CV, your resume. It's important the way you do your resume. There are a lot of resumes that are replete with errors, typos. Sometimes I ask them, did you type this CV yourself? Did you write it yourself? They'll say yes. But look at what you wrote. And they say, oh, we are very sorry, it's an error, it's an error. Now, that tells this kind of person will not pay attention to details. That kind of person will mess up. Even if I hire him, he will not pay attention to details. He will allow things to pass through him. Okay, so your CV is critical, the way you write it. I don't mind even if you have to go and give your CV to people who help people to write resume. It's important, okay, because your CV speaks to me even before you speak.
Yeah, that's correct.
Your CV speaks to me even before you speak. Your CV is you. I tell people your CV is you. I may not have the time to really talk to you for 2 minutes, but your CV has been with me, your resume has been with me. I have studied it, and I have already formed an impression from what I have seen. So the 3rd one is your CV. The 4th one is your knowledge of the company and the job role. You must know that job role. You know, it's funny when I interview people and I say, okay, do you have an idea about this job role? And they say, sorry, sir, somebody just sent the adverts to me and I just applied. So they came for an interview and they don't even know what they applied for. They don't even know about the company. I went for an interview one day and I was with the board. Okay, the board was interviewing me. I've gone through different stages and I was meeting the board of directors. And the night before, I had gone to their website to look at the website, look at the directors, look at their names, look at the vision statements, the mission, look at their figures for last year. You know, I tried to look at their product. So when I came for the interview and they asked me a certain question, you know how I responded? I quoted that one of the directors who was on the board. And I said, Mr. So in 2020 said this. And the moment I said it, I saw the face of that director light up because everybody loves their name to be mentioned, especially when you quote them positively. So the man, his face lighted up. The man smiled, okay, because I mentioned his name from what I saw on the website. So they saw that this guy was prepared. I knew about the company and I know about the job role. So that is very critical. That's number 4. Then communication. We're speaking about communication. It's important
that you're
able to communicate very well. You are able to articulate your value. One of the questions, I wrote something yesterday on social media, which I shared on Facebook and on Twitter. And it is, why should we hire you?
We hire you.
Why should we hire you? I wrote it yesterday. I shared it on Twitter. I shared it on Facebook yesterday. Why should we hire you? And I mentioned the fact that, you know, you should be able to articulate your value. That is one question most likely you are going to hear during an interview. People want to know, why should we hire you? Why? It's not just about you coming to collect salaries. Why? And the moment they ask why, that is when your communication skills should kick in. You should articulate your value. You should speak to your strengths, your skills, your experience. your knowledge of the market. That is when you should be able to tell them whether I am going to help you to improve your revenue this way. I'm going to help you to save your cost by how much this way. I'm going to improve your service delivery this way. I'm going to give you process efficiency this way. You must be able to articulate through very good communication skills your value proposition. I call it my unique selling point. Some people call it employee value proposition. You must be able to say it. It's very important. I went for an interview. The example I shared in my article yesterday, went for that interview in VI. They were setting up a bank, a branch of a bank, a new branch in New Court Road, an area called New Court Road in Ibadan. And then they asked me, why should we hire you? So I told them, well, I know Ibadan like the palm of my hands. When you are talking, use descriptive language. You know, when you talk, make sure that you talk in pictures. I tell people they are different. Maybe one of these days we'll have one on communication, and I can actually teach people how to communicate. You can communicate in pictures. That's the best way to communicate. You communicate in such a way that they begin to imagine it. Okay, so I told them, I said, I know Ibadan like the palm of my hands. And I started dissecting the market for them. I told them about the major business hubs in Ibadan. Mentioned Mokola, Challenge, Ring Road, you know, Bodija and all that. Mentioned the key residential areas. And now mentioned the key businesses that are there, the public sector business, commercial business, the retail business. And I mentioned the critical stakeholders that are there. I now told them, I said, it is very good that you have cited that new branch at New Court Road, because New Court Road is less than 5 minutes to Agbeni. And Agbeni market is the second largest FMCG market in Southwest Nigeria. Okeani is the biggest. After Okeani is Agbeni market. You know, the way you are nodding your head was the same way they were nodding their head while I was talking. If your interviewer nods his head while you are talking, oh boy, you have a leg in the door.
You don't blow.
You have a leg in the door. You have already won that interviewer already. Okay? And needless to say, I got that job. So communication is very important. Then your grooming is important. Your grooming, your appearance. Your appearance is key. Smell nice. Okay? I mean, not the kind of I am smelling nice of that guy on Twitter at that time. But smell nice.
Yeah.
All right? Smell nice. Dress nice. Wear a good suit. Wear a good shirt. Okay? Combine colors very, very well. The color of your belt must match the color of your shoe, not the other way. Okay? It's very critical. When you wear, for guys, you wear a tie. Oh boy, wear socks. Oh. Put on socks. Some people will wear tie and then, you know, by the time you sit down, there's no way your trouser will come up a bit. And then you begin to see skin. It irritates me. Okay, I don't know if that is a style for millennials, but I mean, the culture, I mean, personal grooming indicates that if you're putting on a tie and you're putting on a jacket,
you wear socks.
Wear socks. Okay, wear socks. Okay, you know, and for women also, the same grooming applies, you know, not very loud jewelry, except you are an entertainer. If you are the band or wherever, it is allowed. You are in the entertainment industry. But you know, for some formal settings, not loud jewelry, lovely makeup, but not too loud. You know, your hair well done and well packed, not flying all over the place, and all that and all that. So grooming is important. You know why? We judge a book by its cover. Some people will say never judge a book by its cover. And I lie, we judge a book by its cover.
By its cover.
Your appearance gives me an impression. I already think when I see you well dressed, I say, wow, this guy must be good. It is now when you open your mouth that I now say, it's not package, no, nothing there. But with the grooming, you already got me. Now, if you now open your mouth and then something sensible also comes out, believe me, you have finished the job. So grooming is important. Then skills, your skills. You must be able to demonstrate your skills. There are 3 different types of skills that are important when you're looking for a job. We have what we call employability skills. We have technical skills, okay, and we have transferable skills. Those are 3 skills that are important, but I won't be able to go into all that today. Then your goals. You should be able to talk about your goals, okay? Now, why do you talk about your goals? It is because a company wants to know whether your goals are in sync with their goals.
With their own.
Most likely they will ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? They want to be sure that they can bank on you. They want to be sure that they can plan with you. So it's important. Then leadership, you evince leadership while you're talking. They want to see somebody with a self-starter, somebody who does not need to be micromanaged, somebody who can lead teams. Even if you're an entry level, they want to see that you have the ability to be able to lead teams and all that and all that. And then they want to look at your personality. Your personality will determine where do we put you. Is it back office? Is it front office? Is it mid office? What personality suits this kind of person? So those are the 10 components of a successful interview: your introduction, your confidence level, your CV, your knowledge of the company and the job role, your communication, your grooming, your skills, goals, leadership, and your personality.
Wow, thank you very much, sir. Okay, this is actually not part of my question, but I think I'm just going to take a detour. So since you pastor a church and you're a pastor, so I think it's important I ask you this too. So all these qualities you've mentioned so far, do you think it's actually important to, especially the one about communication, if you are a pastor of a church, do you think it's very important that you have a very good and solid communication skill? Do you think it's up to advance your
it's not just about being a pastor or anything. No matter what you do, if you want to do it very well, you must have good communication skills. A pastor speaks to a large audience. If you cannot communicate well, what are you doing there? You need to be able to communicate spiritual truths in such a way that people will understand. And people will want to come back again next week to listen to you. If you are boring, if you are dry, if you are inarticulate, if you have problem with convincing the audience, you have no job there. All right? So it's not just about that. There is no job that you do, no vocation that you do not need good communication skills. It's everywhere. If you're a teacher, you need good communication skills. If you cannot communicate well with your students, okay, you are a failure. If you're a president, you need good communication skills. You're a banker, you communicate with your customers. You communicate with your colleagues at work. Okay, so there is no vocation where you are involved that communication skills, good ones, will not be required.
Someone said someone won Jalabia to a final interview after doing well at the That one are village people now.
They followed him from the village. That's village people.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you the next one. You know, working in corporate organization for well over 20 years, especially in a country like Nigeria, where you have to deal with the office politics, strife, bitterness, envy, and all manner of things. You must have experienced them all. Yeah. How are you able to navigate this murky water? And what are the practical lessons that you have learned along the way that are still help you to not just maintain and retain your job, but to even rise to the very high level of your career? What are the practical lessons that you can share with us that we can learn from you?
Yeah, a little while ago, I wrote an article called Workplace Politics. If you don't play, you will pay. I wrote it, it's still on Twitter, and it went viral. Workplace politics, if you don't play, you will pay. You know, it's very, very important that wherever you are working, you need to understand the culture. Every organization has a culture. And if you don't understand the culture, you will discover that culture will eat strategy for lunch. So you need to understand that culture.
Can you repeat that again?
Culture will always eat strategy for lunch. Culture is important. The most important thing in any organization is culture. And culture is, how do they behave here? What do they do here? One of the first things, if you want to succeed in any office, okay, apart from knowing the boss, know who is the real boss. Your boss may not be the real boss. Your boss may actually, the real boss may be the secretary. Okay, there are informal controllers of powers in any organization, not the people who have the formal title. The formal title might just be the boss, okay, because it's this, is that. But there are some informal leaders who are very critical. Those informal leaders, they have the ear of the boss. So you need to understand who the informal leaders are, okay? It might be just the secretary. It might be just another person who is lower ranked in the organization. They are the informal leaders. So you need to understand that. So when you get to a place, don't do gra-gra. Try to look at what is happening there. Okay. Oh, for example, I joined an organization, and my very first week, we're going to have a meeting of senior management. All right. And we're going to have it at an hotel. And I got there. I get to my meetings very early. I got there, met just about 4 people there. The meeting was not starting anyway, but I got there very early. And I just, without looking around, I pulled the first seat that I saw. I wanted to sit down on it. And the one guy said, "Excuse me, you must be new here. That is the empty seat." I said, "Wow." I said, "I'm very sorry." So I decided to stay back. I didn't sit down again. People started arriving for that meeting. I started watching where everybody was sitting. Everybody was sitting. Then when the room was almost filled up, I went to a particular seat. I looked at the person beside. I said, "Please, can I sit here?" I said, "Yes, yes, yes." And I sat down. Now, just imagine if I had made that mistake of sitting on the MD seat. And then the MD had come into the room. And then he said, "Who is this guy? Who is this guy?" Now, some people will not know that is where their problem started from. Okay, so it's always important you understand the culture. The culture can even be, what do we call ourselves, first name basis. Okay, what's the culture here? So it is important for you in any place, understand the culture of that organization. And then you must respect everyone. No matter how good you are, no matter how competent you think you are, respect everyone, even if it's your subordinates. Respect people. Respect people. So I tell people, and then be loyal. Loyalty is key. Be loyal to your boss. Give credit. See, there is no boss who doesn't like being given credit to, even me. So imagine if my subordinate wants to do a presentation and I'm there sitting down, and my subordinate stands up and says, "I want to first of all thank my boss, Bayo Adeyinka, because he was the one who helped us with this particular thing that we are doing." I will smile wherever I am. I'll be very happy. That kind of stuff can never do any wrong in my eyes. He has already built a bank of goodwill. So it's important, give credit to your superiors. Even if you are the one that did that job, they gave you the opportunity now, give credit to them. You know, so when you do some of these small, they look like soft issues, but they actually help you to navigate your way around your office.
Thank you very much. Okay. You equally once shared a post where that you title "The Law of Stretch." The law of stretch. I'm sure you remember. So for me, it's very critical to answer that question, because I think I'm in a stage in my life where I think I really need all the lesson that that title contains. So the law of stretch. I want you to share with us again what exactly you mean by the law.
Okay, law of stretch just talks about you leaving your comfort zone. Leaving your comfort zone. Don't stay too long in your comfort zone. And I gave an example. I remember that article very well. I gave an example of how I made the move to come to Lagos from Ibadan. I was working in Lagos. I was working in Ibadan. My career started there. I've always worked there. And at the point, I felt that I had reached a plateau. I wanted something more. You know, I was hungry for more. I believed that there was more to my career, you know, and I just wanted to come to Lagos, you know. And I applied. Long story short, I moved to Lagos, but the very first 6 months, I was cutting with a friend in a place called the Pusiketu. I think the wife is on now. I saw the wife joining now. Okay, you know, yes, the wife just joined. I was cutting in their house for about 6 good months. Okay, it wasn't really too convenient for me. All right, but I just thought that there was something more to my career than just sitting in Ibadan, maybe becoming an area manager there and all that and all that. I wanted to come to Lagos. I believe that Lagos would give me, you know, something to challenge me a bit more. Okay, so it was not convenient for me. It was a stretch. I wasn't even who paid any transfer allowance. I still remember that one of those 6 months, armed robbers, you know, attacked me. Fincan Island, I remember on my way to Apapa that morning. So many things, you know, and it stretched me. Before then, I had never in my career saved money for rent. You know, rent in Ibadan is much cheaper than Lagos. Anytime my
Yeah.
rent was due in Ibadan, I would just take from my monthly salary and pay. My first rent as a banker was 27,000 naira per annum. And it was a 2-bedroom flat in Ibadan, in an area called Ashi in Ibadan, in year 2000. It was 27,000 naira. Okay? So I never had to save to pay rent. All those years, I would just take from my. In fact, when I was living in Ibadan then, my rent was 100,000 naira per annum for a 3-bedroom bungalow that had a very large compound that could take about 30 cars. No exaggeration. It was 100,000 naira
Wow.
per year that I was paying. So, but by the time I made that transition to Lagos, and I wanted to rent a studio apartment, a studio apartment. By then, my wife wasn't in Nigeria. My wife was in UK then. So I was living alone. So I wanted to rent a studio apartment for just 1 year. I was asked to pay 697,000 naira. It was a stretch for me. A room where I have no separate kitchen. The kitchen was inside my sitting room. Know that, you know, but I looked at it as a temporary inconvenience so that I can climb higher and achieve something much more. And I'm grateful to God that I was able to make that transition. I came to Lagos. Lagos gave me a big break. I was able to, by the grace of God, you know, rise a bit higher in my career, and here I am today. So the law of stretch is saying, leave your comfort zone. Okay? Don't be too comfortable where you are. It might be a bit of inconvenience for you if you are stretching yourself, but there is no way you stretch yourself and you will return to the same position again. If you stretch a rubber, it will never return back to the same position. Something would have happened to it. It would be better, capacity would be greater, something good would have happened to that thing. So that's what the law of stretch is all about.
Wow, thank you very much. Okay, the next one, I want you to share with us the significance of the law of trust, especially in business.
Okay, yes, I wrote about the law of trust also. Hopefully, I'm going to compile all these things, you know, into a book, you know.
Yeah, I think you should.
It's going to be a business book where people will learn a lot about all these laws. Now, trust is the most important currency in business. Dollar is not the most important currency in business. Pound sterling is not the most important currency. It is trust. The most important currency is integrity. If you don't have it, you can't do business. In fact, you can only sell a bad product once. After that, people will not come to you. So people need to be able to trust you. You need to be able to give them that opportunity, that occasion to trust you. And trust is earned by what you do, by what you say, by your actions. So if you know that, for example, I go to customers when I'm selling, I'm a salesman, you know, and when I introduce a product and they say, this is the kind of product I want, and this, can you do this? I usually tell them, sir, no, we cannot. Don't lie to customers. Don't lie to customers because you want to win an account. Tell them exactly what you can do. They will love you for it. One of the things I shared in the law of trust was, I had this customer who is not a Nigerian. In fact, he's an Indian. Okay, and he worked for a particular company. He was one of their top guys, and we used to have a lot of quarrel because he would want me to do something, and I was telling him, excuse me, sir, we cannot do this. And he said, no, you should do it. You should do it. You know, you want to force my hand. I said, no, I will stand my ground and say, I am sorry, we cannot do it. Let me tell you what we can do. I will not lie to a customer because I want to win an account. Anyway, long story short, he left that company, went back to US, and about a year after, came back to Nigeria again. He's now the CFO of another company. He got to Nigeria, he called me. He said, Bayo, I now work with another company. I'm very comfortable with you. I need you to come and open our account because I know you. Your yes is yes and your no is no.
And your no is no.
You won't lie to me. I mean, this is a guy that we were always fighting.
Quarreling.
I did not know that. I mean, till today, is one of my very great guys. But he called me. He said, I've spoken to my MD that I'm going to your bank because I have this guy there who take his word, you can take his word to the bank. If he says this can be done, it can be done. If he says it cannot be done, it cannot be done. So that is the level of trust. Integrity is key when you're doing business. Don't lie to your customers because you want to win a sale or because you want to win a good buck. No, they will find out, they will be disappointed, they will never come back. You may think you have lost a particular sale, but you will win that customer eventually.
And it's important you win the customer rather than winning the sale.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Because the customer will give you repeated sales, not just one-off.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, let's go a bit into building a very strong social capital. You know, it's often said that your net worth is like, you know, it's dependent on your network. That the greater your network, the possibility of a better business. So, and in order for you to build network, you need to speak. So, for somebody like you, for example, I mean, I've been following you on social media for, I think, about a year or two now. I've seen a lot of work you've done, how you try to connect with people, and how people like you and then honor you, and how you have tried to live at that cutting edge that you don't betray trust. So I'm going to ask you, what are certain characteristics that are very essential that can help you from social capital? You know, like the Yoruba would always say that, "Eniyola show me." Like, yeah. So how do you build strong social capital? What are the things that you
Thank you very much. That's a very, very lovely question. One of the things that humbles me is when I meet people who say, "Oh, we follow you. You are my friend on social." I did a webinar. A company approached me. So last Friday, I trained their staff.
Sir, I'm sorry. I don't intend to cut you short, but I just want to say a story. You know, the reason why we are having this interview, I've actually followed you for like 2 years, but we've never interacted. Then, until one day, a pastor friend of yours and then you came online to share the story. And then there were people who were showing interest that they would want to have the Bible as well. And then I think this pastor friend of yours read the story and tried to make copies available. And then he came back online to say that this 20 copy of this Bible has been made available for whoever that is interested. And you know, because I can bank on your book, now when you say this thing is good, it's actually good. That is why I sent you to say I am interested. And one of the things that I find amazing is that you responded and said, "Oh, I'm one of the lucky winners of the Bible. Then I will have to pay for the cost of posting." But you know what? You already actually have paid for the posting and then send the book before you ask me to send you the money. And I was like, man, this man doesn't know me. We've never met. How will be able to trust the fact that I'm going to pay this money back? And thank God I did. Anyway, I sent you back the money. And it was through that transaction that led me into asking to grant me interview. And that's why we are here today. So
you know, trust begets trust. Do you know all those 20 people, every single person paid back? You know, I tell people, Nigerians are wonderful people. We only have just a few people who are the bad ones, just like we have in other countries. Just like we have in other countries. There's no country that doesn't have its own bad eggs. But we have allowed the story, the narratives of these bad eggs to overcloud or to becloud the good ones. All these 20 people, out of these 20, it's only one person that I chose myself, and that is my own blood sister. All right? That's the only person. So the remaining 19 people are people that I chose social media and all that. And I can tell you that out of the remaining 19, I've never met you before, never seen you before. About 17 of them, I've never met them before. Maybe 2 or so that I've met before. But everybody paid back because of postage. Trust begets trust. You know? But if you disappoint me once, you won't have the opportunity of disappointing me the second time. And that's what people should understand. Now, I have been very humbled so much on social media. I tell people that social media is not just for missing people or for just looking for stories or pictures. It's more than that. It's for building bridges. I've seen people I've not met before have sent things to me. You know, recently, last week, I shared how I've never met Toyosi Akere Legusiji before, you know,
Yeah.
MD of Rice Networks, you know, but she sent me a centerpiece. Never met her
Yeah,
before in my life.
I saw it.
Sent
The
me a
one with
centerpiece. People have sent me fish, goat meat, books. I've never met them before. Even clothes. Never met them before. I've had people who say, please send me your measurements, okay? And we'll do this for you, you know, and all that and all that. It tells me that all of us can build our social capital. I usually tell people there's nowhere I will go to in this country that I can be stranded. And I'm not boasting. If I get somewhere and I say, hey, I'm here, I was in Uyo for the first time some years ago. And that night, I was writing my experience. I went around, so I was writing my experience about Uyo. And somebody came online and said, so you are in my neck of the woods. And I didn't know. Send me your hotel number and the hotel where you are. I was a bit scared. I've never met this guy before. And it was almost midnight. He said, send me your, which hotel? Hey, I was saying, God, which kind of Allah be this? Should I send this guy? Should I answer? Maybe at once he will come to my hotel and come and meet me. No problem. So I sent him the hotel address. He said, oh, that's not too far from me. A short while after, about 15, 20 minutes later, reception, they called me. And I mean, I can mention his name because we have become very good friends. Mr. Diamond, that Panica is looking for you. I said, Diamond, looking for me. I went to the reception. I saw this guy. We hugged. First time we were meeting. But my friend on social media. And the next thing he said is, he wants me to follow him to his house. His family, they are waiting for me. I said, at midnight, follow you to your house at midnight. I was looking at, I said, okay, let me summon courage and go, you know. I entered this car, midnight though. I entered this car. We went to his house. When we got to his house and I entered, his children shouted, uncle, 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 and they ran and hugged me. The wife came, knelt down the Yoruba way, greeted me. They said they have prepared my food. They brought starch and one other soup, Akwa Ibom soup, and brought it for me. I've never eaten that thing before in my life, but I had to eat it. As we were eating, we were discussing books, myself and Diamond, because he's also an avid reader. He went inside his house and brought some books for me, some old books. We're looking at it, we're reading, we're discussing books. And around, you know, I was so tired, it was almost 2 a.m. I said, I have to go back to my hotel. He said, one more thing, sir. You need to follow me to my factory. I said, factory, at this time. I jumped into his car. I thought it was a factory, you know, factory. Until we get to a particular shopping complex, he opened the door, and I saw about 20 people. They were sewing clothes. It was a garment factory. They were sewing clothes, about 20 people. And he said, I have 2 of these, Onuyo. And he started telling me the story of how he started. And you know what he did? He said, oh yeah, I want to take your measurements. Because I told him that I'm leaving back for Lagos the next day, the next morning. He said, let me take your measurements. By morning, by 7 a.m., your clothes will be ready. This guy took my measurements. 7 a.m., it was the wife, Diamond's wife, who called at my reception with the clothes. I was so humbled. I shared the story on social media at that time. So we can all build our social capital. One, be friendly. Be friendly. It's important. He that must have friends must show himself
friendly.
See, I go for people's occasion, for people's events. That's how I got to like Owambe. Because even my wife a lot of times have asked me, how come I didn't know you liked Owambe this much? Well, the truth of the matter is, because people invite me for events, I go. So, and I go, I must participate. I try as much as possible to go. Even if I cannot go, there's one event we're having in my alumni association, my secondary school alumni now. I won't be able to go, but I bought the Ashwebi. Even though I know I won't be able to go, but I bought the Ashwebi. The guy will be happy that this guy even contributed bought Ashwebi. Even though he will not see me there physically, I will apologize to him that maybe no, this is the reason I could not come. So you must show yourself to be friendly. You know, when people are doing birthdays, celebrate them. If you watch my social media, a lot of my friends on social media, when they're doing birthday, I do
Yeah, yeah, you post and write about them.
I put picture there. I put right up for them. People value it. There was a guy, I didn't even know he was following me on Twitter. I drove to a place called Mega Chicken, which is a place where you buy food in Lagos and all that. And this guy saw me. He wanted to cross the road. I waited for him. I saw he was staring at my car. And he said, "Is that Bayo Adeyinka?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I follow you on Twitter." Yeah. So I asked him to hop into my car. So he got into my car. I said, "I'm going to Mega Chicken." We drove there. You know, we went into Mega Chicken. I asked him to take whatever I wanted. We were talking and all that. That was the only day I met him. But he did his birthday sometimes last week. I saw it on Twitter. I took his picture. I put it on my status. The guy was so happy. People value things like that. Show people that you love them. Be friendly. Value people genuinely. Value people genuinely. Let them know you value them. Don't treat people just because of what you want to get from them. Value them genuinely. Be outgoing. Give a little bit more than is expected. Pour yourself into people. You know, the webinar I did last week, the lady was asking me, said, "Please, how much do you charge? What is your fee?" I laughed. I didn't answer. Then she asked me the second time. I said, "Look, I don't want this to look like a transaction. I am doing it because I love to train people. But if you want to give me an honorarium, you can give me, but let it be after the event. Don't give me before as if you are paying me for a service. I love to train people. Okay? I love to pour myself out into people. That's it. You know, so give more than is expected. A lot of the things I share on social media, there are things you will pay.
Absolutely.
In MBA class, in business school to get.
Absolutely.
But since I know it, why can't I share it freely? Why can't I share it freely? When you do that, you are building your social capital. People will follow you freely. Now, I was so shocked. It was just last year, March, that I was active on Twitter. Before last year, March, I had only less than 1,000 people, about 1,200 or so on Twitter.
I think you've crossed 90,000 now.
No, 70. I'm on 74,000 now. About 74,000 now. And it's amazing. Without doing giveaway. Without doing
you are serving knowledge now. That is giveaway on
and that is all. That is all. That is all. And if you see a lot of the things we have been able to do, see, the most important capital is social capital. It's not even the naira and kobo that we carry all over the place. The most important capital in life is social capital. We have been able to help so many people. Fund Lautech that I spearheaded, together with about 4 colleagues of mine, using social media, we raised 9.4 million.
Yeah, 9.4 million.
That I donated back to Lautech. 9.4 million. You know, we have been able to. There's a lady that a lawyer friend of mine, you know, just called me from the blues and said he wants me to meet a particular lady, and he just felt that I could help the lady. The lady had what they call breast hypertrophy. The breast was enlarged, so big. If you go on my social media, you will see it there, you know. Breast hypertrophy, or what do they call it? Hypertrophy or something. So large. Young girl, 16 years. And she had been reduced to a beggar. But you see, we were able to do it by sharing the story. You know, she went to UCH, got the bill to be able to check whether it is cancerous or not and all that. I shared the story. A friend of mine read the story. That friend of mine, he was my junior in the university. He's a commissioner in Osun State. So he read the story and called me. Ekmo Bayo, I saw the story. What can we do? And we want to do election now. It was, you know, towards the election. What do election now? What do we do? What do we do? Okay, I'll get back to you. And the next minute he called me, said, I have just spoken to the Minister of Health. Professor Adewale was the Minister of Health. You know, I've just spoken to him. He's expecting, I will send his number to you. He's expecting your call. You know, I thought that's the way politicians talk now. I got the number. I called Professor Adewale, the former Minister of Health. I called him. I said, Prof, My name is Baden. I said, yes, I've been waiting for your call. What's the problem? I explained the problem of the lady and all that. He said, send me all her pictures, all her medical history, send it to my WhatsApp. You see, this is one of the reasons for me, Professor Adewale can never offend me.
Wow.
For me, this is one of the reasons. Abuse him from here to there. He can never. So I forwarded all these things to him. He saw it, called me back and said, long story short, he said he has instructed UCH in Ibadan to take care. They are going to do the surgery for free. They are going to do everything for free. I will not pay. And then he sent me the number of the CMAC, Chairman of Medical Advisory Committee of UCH, for me to call. I called him, and the guy said, yes, they have the instruction, the directive of the Minister of Health, Federal Minister of Health.
Minister of Health, not Commissioner
just
of
by
Health.
something I shared on social media. Do you know what they did? That lady, her surgery we did not pay, was taken care of by the Ministry of Health. Everything they did there except blood. The thing I paid for, that we paid for, was blood and maybe some gloves and other things. She stayed in UCH for, I think, 16 days. We didn't pay. We did not pay for the surgery. I was there at the theater when they were doing surgery for her. If you see what they cut off, thank God it was not cancerous. But do you know the additional thing that happened? A lot of people on social media started donating money to her. I opened a special account in the name of this girl, not in my name, in the name of the lady, but I ensured I was a signatory together with that lawyer. And there's another lady that was taking care of that lady too, the three of us. And people were donating money. Do you know, this story is about 3 years old now. This girl, we have put her back in school. She dropped off at SS1, SS2. The father disowned her. Even till today, the father is still not in touch with her. They believe she's a witch or something. We have put this girl in school. The school that we put this girl, it was somebody on social media who read the story, who called us and said, there is a boarding school she knows, and she knows the owner of the boarding school, who is her friend. Because this girl has a child that was about a year old. In looking for solution to her breast hypertrophy, or what do they call it, one prophet gave her, impregnated her. They said they were trying to use soap to rub her breast. They were rubbing another thing. And they gave her, impregnated her and disowned her. So this 16-year-old girl has a less than 1 year old child when they did that surgery for her in UCH. We have put her back in school. The owner of this school took her child. We got a nanny for the child. This girl just wrote her NECO. In fact, this girl just wrote her NECO. Let me tell you what she got in her NECO. Just hold on, because I have it here. I have it here on my phone.
Wow.
This girl just wrote her NECO, and I was so happy. I'm trying to get her results. She wrote her NECO and she got, let me tell you what she got. She wrote her NECO. That's June, July 2020. She, in English, she had C5. Mathematics, she had B3. Civic education, she had C4. Government, she had B2. Economics, she had B3. Yoruba, she had C4. Financial accounting, she had C4. Animal husbandry, she had B3. This is the result here.
And all that would have just died with her if you had not.
And you see, this was just because of the social capital we were able to leverage on. She's in SS3 now. She's in SS3 now. You know, and she's doing very fine. Even though nobody in our family is asking for her. And the money we have raised since 3 years ago is what we are still spending on.
That is still
That's
sustaining
what we
her.
pay our school fees. We pay our school fees from it. We're able to raise about 1 point something million. I gave an account of all the money on social media. Go to my social media page, you will see it. How people donated, how we spend the money, everything is there. So that's what we've been using for our school fees and our daughter and everything till now. Until today, she still has a small amount left that will still take her through school. You know, it is when she now wants to enter Polytechnic University that we have to now be thinking of what will happen. But that is the essence or the importance or the power of social capital. Social capital, I can tell you.
Thank you very much. It's been such a wonderful time. You know, I mean, still speaking on the importance of social capital. You know, one of the things that, apart from the Bible story, one of the things that actually gave me confidence to send you that email when I requested the email, well, you know, there was one day I saw a ball Ademola. You remember? And he said,
Who?
Ademola
Egbon?
Ademola Adigun.
Ademola Adigun. Oh,
Yeah.
it was my senior in secondary school.
Yeah,
We went
yeah.
to the same secondary school.
There was one time he wrote about you, and I once
Yes.
had a conversation just like this with him. So when I wanted to send you a mail, if you notice very well, I put his name forward.
I saw it.
Because that would help you to connect. Like, well,
I saw it.
Conversation with my okay, maybe I can give it a thought.
Yes, I saw it. Yeah. That's the power of social capital. That's the power of social capital. No matter what, you know, people have been able to start businesses just like this, just like leveraging on social capital. So that's why I tell people, if you don't use your social media well, you are shooting yourself in the foot. If all you do is to come and abuse people, you know, argue, share nonsense, you don't know you are doing yourself a big disservice. A big disservice. Do you know that people have contacted me to be saying, oh, we are looking for this particular people. Do you have anybody you can recommend for interviews, for jobs? I can tell you, people I don't even know. They will call me, we saw your profile on LinkedIn, but we need so set of people, and we think you can recommend people for us. So if you are sharing nonsense on social media, you are just shooting yourself in the foot. Use your social capital very well. You see, social media is the new CV. It's the new CV. Social media is the new CV. It's not the CV you write. Social media is the new CV. I can look at your social media handle and naturally know the kind of person you are.
Person that you are.
Going through it and see whether this person can give me value or is not somebody I can waste time with. Social media is the new CV.
Wow. Thank you very much for that. Okay, let's go to the new question now. You know, as a Christian who has enjoyed the rare privilege of speaking at great conferences organized by churches, and when I mean church, I'm not talking about, I mean big, as in big congregation and big organization. And not up until this afternoon, I don't even know you pastor a church. So I want to ask you this question because there has been some sort of controversy. There are people that hold this school of thought that the church should only focus on teaching salvation. I mean, I'm just teaching people about Christ. To an extent, I would say I agree with them. The reason is because I think that one does not mean they have the gift to teach on everything. I mean, I've seen pastors who try to dabble on political talks or business and they don't mess up everything because it's not their forte. So, the question is, do you think as a church, while we are so concerned about the spiritual life of people, do you think it is highly important that people pay attention to their social life, financial life, their career life, their relationship life, and all that? Or you think the church should just be all about let's preach salvation, let's preach Christ, and leave it at that?
Okay, thank you. Now, Jesus is our example, right? Is our model for everything that we do as believers. Now, let's look at the life of Jesus. Was Jesus just about preaching about heaven and all that? I don't think so. You know, when people were hungry, there was a time he finished preaching and he discovered that if people are preached to, if I send them away, they will faint along the way. Some of them will collapse. He said, oh boy, what do we have here? Do we have food? Somebody said, we have only 5 loaves and 3 fishes. He said, bring it. He did a miracle, multiplied the food, and served everybody. He ministered to their personal needs, gave them food. Do you know because of food, some people followed him? Some people followed him because they said, hey, this one that is feeding us, I don't have to work again for my life. Let me just
I'll just be going with him.
Exactly. Just because of food. You see, you don't know what you will do to people that will actually make some people become your follower, or you just need to draw them to Christ. So Jesus ministered to the physical needs of people. He gave them food. He even told his disciples at the time, he said, when you were with me, did you lack anything? That means he was not just preaching to them or praying for them. He asked them a question. He said, when you were with me, did you lack anything? That means I made sure you were comfortable. I made sure that you were okay. I paid your salary on time. You were fine. Jesus had a treasurer who was Judas. Why were they keeping money? They needed money now. They needed money. So they were keeping money. There was a time they wanted to pay tax. They came to Jesus. And they said, these tax people, they're after us again. Oh. They said, we should come and pay tax. Oh. Jesus said, well, if they know actually who I am, they should not even be asking me for tax. But so that we can actually fulfill all righteousness, we can do what is necessary. They are you. Go into the river. The first fish that you catch, open the mouth. You will see a gold coin. Use it, pay your own tax, pay my own tax too. So Jesus was interested in not just your spiritual well-being, but every area of our lives. Did Jesus dabble into politics? Yes. There was a time he told somebody, said, go and tell that fox, Herod. He sent a strong message to the rulers of the day. He said, go, and he called Herod a fox. He said, go and tell that fox, Herod, that so. John the Baptist spoke about that guy who took the wife of his brother. That's what got him into trouble. He spoke about it. They were not quiet about it. So preachers should not be quiet about the social injustice of the day. They should talk about it. Every one of us, we are going to the same market now. The market that Pastor Adeboye goes to, or Pastor Samadiemi, is it different from the market you and I go to? The inflation we are suffering in Nigeria, is it different? So why can't they talk about finance? Why can't they talk about what will make their people better? If I know I can teach something now that will make the lives of my people a bit better, why shouldn't I talk about it? The Bible spoke about money more than any other book. You will see references about money in the Bible. So why shouldn't we teach money? Why shouldn't we teach finances? This career that I'm talking about, why should I not teach it in church? If the people are better, won't they find it easier to serve God? They will find it easier to serve God now. If their economies are better, if their lives are better. But you know, if I have people who are unemployed in the church, who are looking for jobs, and they don't know how to get jobs, do you think they will stay in church?
No, they won't.
They're attending interviews. They will be going to place. You know, so I believe that a believer should be, or a church, or a pastor should be interested in the total man. I believe in the total man concept. You know, man is on 3 dimensions. I am a spirit, I have a soul, I live in a body. So all these 3 components are things that I believe the church must talk about. We must be concerned about social injustice. We must be concerned about righteousness in the land. We must be concerned about the well-being of the people that we are ministering to. If it is good for them, it is good for all of us. You know, so you cannot rest easy if you see that a member of your church is in pain, is in difficulty, you know, he is poor in health. So you need to teach them about health, healthy living, healthy eating. Mention it. It doesn't mean that you are an expert in that area, okay? But the little wisdom you have, you give it. Then you also bring other experts to teach about it. That is why in church, you see, we invite other people to come and talk to us. You know why? Nobody has a monopoly of wisdom.
Of knowledge,
come and share their own truth. The scripture says we know in parts, we prophesy in parts.
I will prophesy in parts.
So you call other people also who know a little bit more than you to come and talk. You call specialists, they come and give talks. You know, when people hear these things on a daily basis, they become better and better and better. In my own church, in our church, okay, we teach leadership. We have leadership meetings where these communication skills that are spoken about, we teach it. I am not the senior pastor. I just pastor the Lagos church. I have my senior pastors in Ibadan. My senior pastor will come and teach us how to handle the microphone and tell you one day you will be in United Nations. It is not when you are in United Nations that you will know how to handle a microphone. It will teach you that how do you answer questions. When you want to make a contribution at work, the first thing you do is you mention your name. My name is Bayo Adeyinka, and I want to thank you. Now thank your boss. I want to thank my boss for giving me this opportunity. My question is, we teach practical things like that because that is life. Life is not just this. So, you know, whatever you learn in church on Sunday, that's what we teach our people. Everything you learn on Sunday is for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then you come back on Sunday for review. Then you go back. So we must teach about the total man. It's not just enough to say, let us teach people about going to heaven. No, 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 no. You're on earth here. You want to suffer on earth before you get to heaven. No, why don't you enjoy the best of both worlds?
Wow. I mean, a friend of mine once said, when you take most of Nigerian pastors out of the confines of their Nigerian setting, that they can't minister properly. You know, imagine invited to the UN and you want to start telling them how the village people is pursuing you. They are pressing your neck in the dream.
But you see, the truth of the matter is, there is a reason. You know, everything has its place and its purpose. The peculiarity of the challenges of the African also ensures that if an Oyibo man who is there comes to minister here, it might not be very effective. Because some of the things we face, they don't face it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The first time I went to Ghana, I couldn't sleep. You know why? The house where I stayed, there was no burglary on the door. There was no burglary on the window. and the house was not fenced. I said, ha. I could not sleep throughout the night. No burglary. Ha. What if they come to rob us? You know? And when I woke up in the morning, I jumped up in the morning. I quickly went to get an iron to iron my clothes. You know why? The mentality that NEPA might take light. Let me quickly iron my clothes. Okay, so you see, the truth of the matter is we have peculiar challenges in Africa, which actually entails somebody who understands those challenges also to minister. That is why you will see that usually when God raises people, he raises people from one locality, and a lot of times he sends them to that same locality. They can understand his language. They can understand the challenges. So if an Oyibo man also comes here to minister, he might not be. That's why you see a lot of the Oyibo people that come and maybe they could just come to do evangelism. But after evangelism, they hand them over to the local churches. We understand the problem. See, we understand the idolatry. We understand the fact that people can sleep and dream and see a masquerade chasing them in the night. Oyibo people don't have masquerade. So who will chase them? So each place has their peculiarities. So I don't talk like that. I don't say when a Nigerian man goes to, did God not send blessing that was all over the world? Did he not speak to them in their language and they understood? You know, but you see, men are for different times and seasons. So the kind of times and seasons we are in, we have preachers in Nigeria who are very effective. Who understand the problem of Nigeria, they are very effective. And you see, they don't need to be effective abroad because God did not send them there now. God sent them here. You see, the way God measures success is not the way we measure success. Success is measured based on where did God send you. If you go to where God sent you, even if it is a 50-member church and you stay there, you are faithful, you are successful. If you go to a 1,000-member church and God did not send you there, you are a failure.
All right, thank you very much for that. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, I think this should be the last question for the day, so I can allow you to move on to other things. Yeah, I want to ask you, sir.
As somebody said, Italians have masquerade.
Yeah, I mean, what are the benefits and advantage of having a mentor? And how are you able to identify a good mentor? Because I think there are mentors and there are mentors. There are times your mentor can even turn out to be your tormentor. Like mentors who doesn't want you to rise above them, who doesn't want you to succeed, who kick against everything that you bring to them just because they don't want you to, they always want you to. So first, I want you to speak to us about the importance, the key importance of having a mentor over your life, and how do you identify one?
Mentors are very critical. I have quite a few myself, and I am someone who always espouses the fact that it is good for you to have mentors. You know, mentors help you in such a way that you don't need to make those mistakes they have made before.
Yeah.
You can make your own fresh mistakes. That's one of the importance of mentors. People can mentor you either one-on-one, physically, or through books. There are some people I've never met before, but they mentor me through their books. I read their books. So when they share some real life issues, real life experience, the day I encounter such, I am able to use the wisdom they have given to me to overcome that problem. So if I am going to make make mistakes, let me make my fresh mistakes, not the mistakes that are avoidable and that they have taught me about. So that's one of the advantages of mentorship. Mentorship shortens your journey. It shortens your journey. It helps you to go faster. It helps you to achieve or to arrive at your destination faster because you have learned certain things. You learn. There are two ways you can learn. It's either you learn by experience or you learn because somebody has taught you. Now, if somebody teaches you, it is better. If you learn by experience, it might be more difficult because that experience can burn you.
Yeah.
So it's easier to learn through teaching. Somebody has taught you, a mentor has taught you, than for you to be learning through experience, your personal experience, which you will now use to teach another person. But something so it's important for you, and you can have mentors in different aspects of life. I have different mentors. Now, the person who mentors me for business does not necessarily have to mentor me spiritually. He might not know a jack about spirituality. Now, a lot of people want to put a mentor in one size fits all. No. You can have different mentors. I have professional mentors. My professional mentor, one of them I mentor my professional mentor on spiritual things. He's my professional mentor. If I need career advice, I go to him. I need career advice. The guy will give me fantastic advice. He's my former boss. He will give me fantastic advice. But when that guy needs some spiritual issues and needs whatever, he calls me. You understand? So don't mix things up. People should not mix things up. You can have different kinds of mentors, professional mentors, mentor in your career. You can have personal development mentors. You can have mentors spiritually. You can have mentors in business. Okay, so don't put all these people in the same bucket. All right, that's number one. Number two, also understand that your mentors are human beings. They are not perfect. You know, during the webinar I did on Friday, somebody was asking me, is there some mentors who just discover some things about their lives and then you're not happy? I said, oh boy, focus. Don't look at the noise of the market. Oh. It is the market that you are going to buy that you should face. Not the noise of the market. Focus. Mentors are not perfect. No mentor is perfect. No human being. We are all infallible. We have our weaknesses. So what if you discover the weakness of your mentors? What? Are you perfect yourself? What you just do is take what you want to take and move. For me, even if I discover the weaknesses of some of my mentors, it will not diminish their respect in my eyes. Because what brought them to that level, I still don't have it. All you need to do is to learn from it and say, I have learned this one though. I want to make sure it doesn't happen to me.
Yeah.
So you learn from their mistakes. Some of them, they're very open and vulnerable. Even the reason why you discovered about their mistakes is because they were vulnerable to you. Some of them opened themselves up to you and they showed you that they were vulnerable. They are human beings. When I discover the faults or the errors of my mentors, it humbles me. It shows me also that I am a human being. I am mortal. I am not infallible. I can make mistakes. So rather than gloat, rather than say, see what my mentor did, though, this one is not worthy to be a mentor, it makes me look at myself and say, God, help me so that I don't fall into the same kind of mistake. I don't diminish them. It doesn't diminish the respect that I have for them because I know they are human. A man is still a man. A man is still a man. You know? So it's so people need to properly situate things that no one is perfect, even if he's a mentor. If he's perfect, it will be God. If he's perfect, it will be God. He is a mentor, a human being. Men, mentor. Men is men. He's a man. He's a man before he's a mentor. So he's a man before he's a mentor. So forget all this perfection. Take what you want from their life. Learn their lessons. And move on. If you want to learn from their failure, learn from the failure also. So that you don't... In fact, the failure is a lesson for you. So that you don't fall into the same trap. And then move on. So it's important that we all have mentors at various... I tell people, somebody said... Greater Bio once spoke about some people claiming they wanted him to mentor them, but they were simply looking for others. Yes, I remember that story. Yes, a lot of people are not looking for mentors, they are looking for financial partners. My main mentor, I have never, ever asked him for money.
Hmm.
As rich as he is, and when I say somebody is rich, he's wealthy. God has blessed him. On one of my journeys to South Africa, I stayed. He asked me to stay in his house. I stayed in his house in South Africa. He asked me to go to a particular place. I went there by train. I got there. I saw he had 25 chalets, 25 in an estate, 25 buildings, not one, no, not 25 rooms, oh, not 25 rooms, oh, 25 chalets like this in a massive estate owned by him. And he asked one white guy who was his housekeeper to open one of them for me. He asked me to go about 5 minutes, 10 minutes walk to another building. Called me, said I have 10 chalets in that particular estate, massive estate. So when I'm talking about somebody who is wealthy, but do you know that I have never gone to him to say, sir, please give me money. I've never gone to him to say, please come and open an account with my bank, even though I'm a banker. Never. There was a day he called me and said, Bayo, all these years, you have never even told me to come and open an account. I said, sir, that's not what I need. It's your wisdom I need, not your pockets. It's your wisdom. So if you now want to come and open, it's fine. But it's your wisdom that I need. Some people, they are just about money. Money destroys relationships.
Yeah.
Money will destroy a mentoring relationship. So I don't ask for money. Okay, I ask for wisdom. So it's important for you to know what you want. If you want wisdom, go for it. Understand the limitations of mentorship. Understand that your mentor cannot mentor you on everything. I tell people there are certain things I can't mentor people on. It's not everything I know. I don't pretend. I don't know everything. I'm not a reservoir of all knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't know everything. So, but if you ask me for career, I can tell you. If you ask me about some things, I can tell you. But you ask me about something, I say, sorry, I don't know. Maybe you can ask another person. So don't think your mentor will know everything. Your mentor is also a man or a woman. Okay? They also have their limitations. Okay? But it is always good to have a mentor to shorten your journey, to help you, to give you the necessary wisdom, to challenge you and to inspire you. Some mentors will take you to places you will never ever dream of getting to. This my mentor. I was in Rwanda 1 year. And when I went to Rwanda, I put it on social media, you know, some of the things I've been doing in Rwanda. The PA of my mentor called me. He said, what are you doing in Rwanda? I said, I went to Rwanda for my vacation. I said, your mentor is in Rwanda now. At the same time, I said, I didn't know. I said, I will ask him to call you now. So the man called me. He said, Bayo, kí ló ń ṣe in Rwanda? And I told him, I said, okay. We have this prayer breakfast tomorrow. Paul Kagame is going to be there. I want you to join us. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it because I had another meeting. But I was able to make another meeting they had where he introduced me to a woman who was a member of the Congress in Uganda. And we got talking. The woman gave me a card and said, please visit Uganda. He said, anytime you want to visit Uganda, call me. I will host you. Why? On the strength of my mentor.
On the strength of your mentor.
I am yet to make that trip, but anytime I want to make that trip, I still have that lady's address. She is a member of the Congress, a member of the parliament in Uganda, very highly placed woman. And all I need to do is to mention the name of my mentor. It opens doors. It opens doors. So mentorship opens doors for you. If you know how to hold that wheel of mentorship. I've known my mentor since 2001. That makes it how many years now? About 20 years?
Yeah.
That I've known that particular mentor I'm talking about. I have never asked him for a couple in 20 years that I've known him. In fact, it was meant to be the chairman of my wedding, but he could not make it that year. He had to travel. So he now asked somebody he delegated it to somebody. That shows you since I knew him. All right? And how did I get to meet him? I was speaking at an event. Well, I didn't even speak. I was okay. Yes, I spoke at that event, a church event, our church in Ibadan, and he was there for the first time. So that is why you need to make a good impression every single time. You can't afford to have a bad day. You know, the first time he was in the church, and it was one of the very first times they also gave me an opportunity. That was 2001, thereabouts. I wasn't even married. So after the meeting, somebody just told me that somebody wants to see me. And I went to see him. I've never seen him in church before. So I prostrated before him. Elderly looked at him and said, young man, I love the way you spoke. Oh. I was really touched the way you spoke. What is your name? I told him my name. What do you do? I said, I'm a banker. Hey, you're a banker? Which bank? I mentioned to him. How long have you been working in bank? 1 year. 1 year. He said, I like you. You are very sharp. I like you. Can you give me your number? I gave him my number. And the following, just told me that he came to see his friends. His friends were attending our church then. So he came with his friends. The following day was a Monday. He called me on my phone. He said, can I know your house? I was scared. Somebody I just got to meet yesterday. I said, yes. I described my house to him. The man drove to my house. I guess he wanted to know me a bit more personally. He drove to my house. He entered. I was a young man. I didn't even have furniture in my flat. I had a red rug wine that I put on the floor. I used to sit on the floor. I just had one small 14-inch sharp TV that I bought since university. That was what was on my floor. The man entered, sat down with me like that. And we were talking, was asking me about life, asking me about general things. I guess he wanted to know a bit more about me. And then that was how the relationship started. He just told me, anytime you are in Lagos, feel free to come and stay in my house. I said, yes, sir. So many months after, almost a year after or so, I was going to be in Lagos. I called him. He said, come to my house. I went to his house, massive house. And he put me in his chalet. I slept in his chalet overnight. The next morning, his chef called me for breakfast. Hey, I've never been to that kind of house before in my life, you know. I went there, he was there with his wife. I saw the area of food. I was even scared to eat, you know. You know, the Bible said when you go to a rich man's house and you want to eat, you put a knife to your throat.
You put the knife to your throat, yeah.
So I was just eating, just quietly and all that. And the next thing he did was, he gave me the key to a car. He said, you want to go anywhere, take the key to a car. He gave me a car. Even me, I didn't have a car at that time. He gave me the key to a car. So if I want to move around in Lagos, I said, trust. That was how the relationship started. And since then...
And some young people have considered that as an opportunity to hammer. The proposal hammer for where?
You can hammer once, but that will be the last hammer you will hammer. And the things I have benefited from this man has been more than asking for money. When Donald Trump became the president, I was working one morning, just became the president. This man called me. Bayo, something just happened. I said, yes, sir. He said, okay, I'm supposed to be at the presidential, he's always at the presidential prayer breakfast for all American presidents. They always invite him. He's always one of Nigeria's representatives. He said, they just invited me. And we were two that were supposed to go from Nigeria. He said, but the second person just told me he cannot go. So I have replaced his name with your name.
Wow.
He said, so send me your passport, your visa. And I said, He said, what is her? I said, I don't have American visa. He said, yay! You don't have US visa. I said, at that time, I didn't have US visa. I said, I didn't have US visa. I said, wow. And it's too late to process one because the meeting was going to be in about 2 weeks or so. That was actually what led me to go and get a US visa. Because I saw that some opportunities may not come twice.
Wow.
I meet that man, I missed the opportunity of meeting Donald Trump. He was the only Nigerian who went for that prayer breakfast with him. I would have been the second person who would have taken me there. That was what he wanted to do in Rwanda. Take me to Paul. It was that prayer breakfast.
Kagame.
Yeah. And he has done the same thing for me in Nigeria. He ensured they were doing a program, National Prayer Breakfast. He ensured that I was one of the speakers. He put my name there. We did it at Muson Center a few years ago. He put my name there as one of the speakers. When I got there, I saw elderly people. Elderly people. I mean, elderly people in their 70s, 60s. I was the youngest. And I was on the high table. It was very humbling. I was on the high table. And they called me to come and speak in front of all those people. It was a 7 a.m. meeting. I was shaking. It was very humbling to me. Please, which kind of armor won't carry me go that kind of place?
Won't carry me go that kind of place.
So some things are more important than money. The opportunities he has created for me, the things he has helped pushed me to be able to see, they are more than money. If I collected money from him, are you sure I wouldn't have finished spending that money till now?
Yeah, you would have.
But the benefit of mentorship will outlive and outlast you. That's the benefit.
Wow, thank you very much, Embo. Thank you so much. It's been such a wonderful time with you. Okay, let me just ask you this one last one.
No problem.
I know you're a banker, and I know that's what you do specifically. Of course, I know you have businesses here and there. But I mean, I've seen you in the company of the former governor of Anambra State, Taubi. I've seen in the company of the governor of Osun State, the present one. I've seen you in the company of the present Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde, and few other people. I mean, power blocks in Nigeria. How did you get to that level? What did you do?
Is there a how? What I would just say is, whatever you are doing, do it very well. Excellence always stands out. Know what you're doing. Be competent. You see, a man's gift will always make a way for him. It will always make a way for him. It will always open doors for him. So whatever you are doing, be the best at what you do. Be excellent. Do it very well. Okay? Leverage on your social capital. All right? Be outstanding. Be outstanding at what you do. You know, a man who is outstanding will not stand before mere men. He will stand before kings.
Kings, yeah.
Okay? It is very important. So it is not just about connection or whatever. If you do well and you are outstanding. In fact, there was a time, was it 20? I mean, about 2-3 years ago, I shared that experience online. Somebody just called me and said, the vice president, Professor
Yemi
Oshibajo is coming to Ibadan for a town hall session with Oyo youths. And they need one person who will speak to Oyo youths before Vice President Oshibajo speaks, and that they selected me to speak to Oyo State youths. I said, They said yes, that they selected me. So it was the commissioner for youth and sports in Oyo State that called me. He said they selected me during their meeting that I should be the one to speak to Oyo youths before the vice president will speak. I considered it a very rare privilege and opportunity, and I thanked him. So on the day he came, the whole auditorium was filled up. The whole auditorium was filled up. I had to look my best. I had to look my part. I wore a bow tie, look very good. Wore a nice suit, wore a bow tie. It was to speak in the presence of the vice president of Nigeria.
Vice President.
I'm not the only speaker in Ibadan now. I'm not the only person. So it humbled me. But that day, the former governor was there, late governor, Senator Ajimobi was there. In fact, the governor did not speak because as the VP got there, they took the national anthem and they called my name to come and speak. The governor did not even speak. They just called my name, that we have a youth leader, somebody who is passionate about the youth, who is going to talk, and they called my name. In fact, initially they said I was going to talk for 10 minutes. So I prepared my speech for 10 minutes. But they were pressed for time. As they wanted to sing the national anthem, one of the people in the protocol of the VP stepped up to me and said, "That's your speech. Can you compress it to 5 minutes?" I said, "Yes, that's fine." Abraham Lincoln said, "I will prepare myself, and one day my chance will come."
My chance will come.
Yes. I said, "Yes, 5 minutes." As they took the national anthem and as I stepped to the podium, they always bring a customized podium for the vice president.
Yes.
With the signal, vice president of the Federal Republic. So they set it up. As I was about to step, somebody stepped up to me and said, "That's your 5-minute speech. Can you compress it to 2 minutes?"
Wow.
I said, yes. I said 2 minutes is fine. I said it's okay. Because it was an opportunity in the world and I was going to take it. And sincerely, I don't even remember what I spoke about that day because what I did was I was just looking at the sea of heads. Behind me was the vice president and the governor of Oyo State and very eminent people, and I spoke. All I remember is that by the time I finished my speech, everybody in the hall stood up and they were clapping. And the vice president kept on looking at me. And I thank God that day I brought a copy of my book, 40 lessons. 30 career lessons was not out at that time. I brought 40 lessons I learned along the way. I wrote the name of the vice president, signed it, and gave it to the protocol to give it to him. You know. So anything you are doing, do it well. Your gift will make room for you. Your skills. So ensure you are an expert at whatever you do. Be excellent in whatever you do and be consistent. Your time will come.
Wow. Thank you very much, Ebo. Thank you very much for the gift of your time and for the honor of the knowledge you've shared with us so far. It's been such a wonderful time. And if time permits, I think I still have to bring you back where we so much talk about career and communication skill alone. I mean, we're just going to sit with you for another 1 hour for you to coach us, to guide us, and to teach us about this. Because I think this issue of communication skill, all the pandemic, very, very important. And so we need to collect all that is in you. We need to just collect everything.
No problem.
Thank you
Anytime.
And to my wonderful audience, thank you for joining and thank you for taking your time to listen to your bio. I'll reach out to you and message their inbox. But with all my heart, I say very good.
Thank you so
like
much.
I said,
nice putting the name to the face, finally.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sending you that message. I was like, would you respond? But like, okay, there's no other trying. Let me just say. And when I had you say yes, I was like, no. It's such a rare privilege. And thank you for the honor. Thank you very much. I mean, the good Lord begin to expand your territory.
Amen.
And continue to be with you, be with your wonderful family. And to your loving daughter, I say, and to your loving
Kiki,
wife,
come here.
I say happy Mother's Day. Oh, let's say.
Kiki, come. Are you there? Yeah, come. I want to say hello to you. Bimbo, come too. Yeah, Kiki, come now.
She's shy.
No. She said she's not shy.
You're not shy. Kiki, hello, how are you? It's nice.
She's actually making her hair.
Thank you very much for allowing your daddy the time to speak to us today. I know it's supposed to be a family time. So thank you for releasing it to us. Thank you very much, and we're grateful. And to your mom, tell her happy Mother's Day
thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I do have a
thank you so much.
And a great week. Bye, sir.
God bless you. Bye bye.